community. One day I needed help, and the community was there for me.
Yeah.
And that was sort of life changing for me to say, you know what, I have to pay it forward. And I think it's that's for me. It's I the universe did something nice for me. I have to provide back now and just pay it forward for everyone that I can. And if I can make a difference for whether it be one person or 1,000 people, whatever, it's I feel good about it. So
And I'm grateful that you
yeah,
feel good about it, and that you both of you go up, step up, and put your lives out there to help so many in so many different ways.
yeah.
That's great. Are there a handful or a group of focused causes that the
It's probably
Well, I think, I've always had sort of a passion for youth groups and domestic violence. And I mean, I think we all sort of kind of gravitate to our own sort of personal causes that we have. But my thing is to really, I really want to embrace the entire community and sort of kind of branch out. I know, it's hard to help everybody, but sort of just see, what are the other nonprofits that are out there that are struggling or having a difficult time, and just kind of hear their story, and hopefully, if I can't help them, at least help get their story out there so that others can hear it as well.
Well, that's great. So, were you with Community United Against Violence, or do you know anything about that?
I know about them, but most of the nonprofit work I've done has been in South Bay.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
And so when I moved to San Francisco, I've always been involved with the corp, but then started branching out to the other nonprofits here. So I'm sort of slowly feeling my way through all the local charities here. But yeah, most of my domestic violence association has been with the South Bay in San Jose.
Yeah, I got to know Connie Champagne pretty well, and she was very much involved for a long time with the CUAV. Do you have particular...
For me, I'm a food person, so my thing is about feeding people.
Okay.
I don't think anybody should go hungry.
I couldn't agree more.
And I have my own catering business, so it's sort
I
of
didn't know that.
so it's sort of one of those things that outside of this persona, I have my own little catering business, and so I've always been about food. And I think growing up in New Orleans, food was always the center. Food was what brought people together.
Yes. Yes, and great food.
Yeah, and I think so. For me, my focus really, I want to focus on, charities that really are struggling, that are really having a hard time, but that dedicate some time to making sure people get fed. And there are other, and like Frankie, I really want to try to reach out in all aspects. We can't help everyone.
Of course not.
We can't help everyone, but the other thing that's important, I think, to both of us is that we have a partnership with the organizations that we do raise money for. And we're just starting, so building those relationships. It's hard to commit to say, oh, I'm going to raise money. I've seen it too often where people raise money for a charity, and no one from that organization actually shows up. But they're there. But they're there to collect the check.
Money, yeah, they're there for the check.
And I don't want to see that. I really want a partnership, and I think we both do. That there are organizations out there that have already started to talk to us, that want to be involved, and they want to lend their support to what we're doing for the year. And now it's just filtering through to try to find out where the best matches are going to be. But we're starting. St. Patrick's Day will be our first fundraiser, and
Why don't you tell us a little about that particular one?
Well, we have our first fundraiser, St. Patrick's Day, at Marlena's.
Okay.
It's an annual event that I've been doing now for 3 years, and it goes to our Monarchs Charity Fund. Everything that we raise, there's a corned beef and cabbage dinner, and then a fabulous drag show with yours truly. And we'll have guest MCs will be Empress 41, Galilea, and Emperor 25 after Norton. Mr. Jacques Michaels will be our co-MCs, and then just a cast of some really fabulous entertainers from the city that come out, want to help us hit the ground running. and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money. And then, what do you
And
have?
FYI, he makes fabulous corned beef and cabbage. So,
That sounds
if you're
pretty
in the
good.
mood.
That's very enticing.
You know,
Yeah.
So that's at Marlena's,
Yes.
St. Patty's Day. Is it the 17th?
The 17th, Thursday the
March
17th.
17th, Thursday. Marlena's is on Hayes Street in Hayes Valley, next door to Flippers. I'm not plugging anybody. And Kitty Corner, I think, from Stack's.
Absolutely.
A great little neighborhood, and that is probably one of the most significant institutions in our history with the drag community.
Absolutely.
And so much more than that, because it's about civil rights. It's about all sorts of things, starting with the first Emperor Jose,
Yeah,
and continuing right now to Frankie and you.
absolutely.
Donna was the 30th Empress.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I don't remember who her.
You know, it's hard to imagine that this organization's been around for 46
years. Isn't that wonderful?
It's you know, and to think that it started here. And today we have 68 courts in
Unbelievable.
Canada, across the United States, and in Mexico. And you know, I always tell people we're sort of like the gay Shriners. You know, we just do it in drag.
I love that. That's a great line.
And it's great. We have a great time doing it. You know, I think part of the whole court system is that we meet people around the country. You know, we develop great relationships, and then we all come out and support each other. You know, at the end of the year, we have our coronation, and people come in from all around the country and from Canada and Mexico to be here and celebrate with us. So it's an amazing experience. I always say it's like going to a wedding, because you know you don't see them all the time, but when you do,
A big wedding.
it's a big wedding. Exactly.
High glam wedding.
We had a brief minute to talk about Jose Guzman Colon before the show, who's
Yeah.
a close friend of all of ours.
Yes.
And I want to know, is he going to do the official Emperor Empress photograph?
He actually is.
Absolutely.
I'm dying to see it.
He will. We're trying to negotiate that now. Trying
He's
to
a
get that.
genius.
He is. He's magical.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, you know, it makes, you know, I love having him take photographs of me, because everything he does is just amazing.
It's inspirational. I mean,
It
it's
is.
not things I could imagine.
Well, you know, I don't, you know, he makes me look better than I ever look in person. And,
Me too.
you know,